everyone. So in this video, now we are going to see what do you mean by IUPAC nomenclature and how hydrocarbons are named according to this rule. So before starting the video, first let us see what do you mean by IUPAC nomenclature. So IUPAC is defined as the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, which has set certain rules for defining the organic compounds. So this IUPAC is a joint venture of two branches of chemistry, that is pure and applied, where they define how a particular organic compound is present in different structure and how they are named accordingly. So they have set off some of the different rules. So accordingly, they are applied for naming of the various hydrocarbons or various organic compounds that we are now going to see. So in my last video, we have already seen that hydrocarbons were classified into broadly two categories, and then which were further classified into three mainly. So I would now I will represent only those three main categories. That is, number one was alkane, number two was alkene, and number three was alkyne. Okay, so now we are going to see how these alkane, alkene, and alkynes are named according to this IUPAC nomenclature. So, according to IUPAC nomenclature, these overall words, means these three categories, are fully classified into two parts. Okay, so these are further classified mainly into two parts. That is, number one is word root, and the second one is the suffix. Okay, so this rule is applied for alkanes, where you can see that the alkane have two parts. Means the first word you can see here is the representing the same word, that is al. Here also, and here also. So these al forms the word root, which means that how many carbons are present in any of the carbon compound. Okay, so it represents, I can say that, how many number of carbons are present are determined by the word root. Now, the suffix. This suffix in this hydrocarbon represents the type of bonding which a particular hydrocarbon consists of. So these can be further classified into three, I can say. Three categories I can divide these suffix. The first one is "-ane", that is for alkene. Second one is "-ene", that is for alkene. And the third one is "-ine", that is for alkyne. Okay, so overall, when we consider these hydrocarbons, so we can say that these consist of mainly two parts. that is word root and suffix. This word root defines the number of carbons, which will be same in all the three categories, whereas the remaining portion consists of suffix, that is "-ane", that represents the for alkane, "-ene" represents for alkene, and "-ine" represents for alkyne. Now, one more category has been generated for this IUPAC nomenclature for classifying the carbon compounds, and that is the prefix. One more category is there, we can say, and that is prefix, and that is optional and is applicable for certain categories only. So we can say this prefix is also one of the important part of this IUPAC nomenclature. Mainly these prefix are used for some of the additional groups that are present on these hydrocarbons chain. Okay, so all in all, we can say that the IUPAC can be classified into following categories. Now, first look what is all about word root. So, word root, as it forms an important part of the nomenclature. So, this word root determines the number of carbons present in any organic compound. Okay, so word root represents the number of carbons present in any organic compound. So now let us see what different word roots are used for different number of carbons. Now first let us see what about C1. So if any compound contains a single carbon, so it starts with neat. Okay, now if it contains C2, so it starts with eth. C3 starts with prop. C4 starts with but. C5 starts with pent. C6 starts with hex. C7 starts with hept. C8 starts with oct. C9 starts with neo, and C10 represents the deck. So hence we can say that the compounds have the following number of carbons can be defined as these word root. Now if we are adding these word roots with different suffix as we have seen, so now let us try with this alkane suffix. So alkane suffix was, as per we have seen just now, suffix was "-ane". So just adding with all these terms with these word root, I can define these alkanes as methane, ethane, as we can see, met plus ane methane, eth plus ane ethane, then prop plus ane propane, then but plus ane, butane. Similarly, we can say pentane, then we can say hexane, then heptane, then octane, then neoane, then decade. So here you can see that how these IUPAC nomenclature have been implied for naming these alkenes. So similarly, we can name these compounds for alkene also. So let us see one by one. One thing that I also told you last time, that for alkene we can't have carbon one. Okay, one carbon we can't have alkene. So for alkene, methane compound would not be possible. So here we can say that first let us see the suffix that we are using for alkene is "ene," and since the one carbon compound is not possible, so we can say here no possible compound for it, methane. Okay, now we can start it for the different compounds. So let us start, that is second carbon is ethene, then we can say is propene, and then for four carbons we can name it as a butene, then for next we can say pentene, then hexene, and then heptene, then octene, then neoene, then decene. Okay, so this was all about for the alkenes. And similarly, we can also formulate the formulas for alkyne, where the suffix that we are using for alkynes is "-ine", as we have already seen it. So alkyne is there. So let us see the nomenclature also. So here also one carbon compound is not possible. So we will write here not possible, one carbon compound. Now let us write for the others, that is ethyne, butane, then propyne we can say, then pentine, hexyne, heptyne, octyne, neoyne, then decyne. So like this we can name the different alkenes and alkynes. And one thing that we can observe, that all the compound belonging to the same category represents the similar properties. Whether if you are considering all the alkenes, they will be having same properties, and if you consider alkene, they will be also representing the same properties. Hence, these compounds, on the basis of properties, we can say that one term we are using, and that is known as the homologous series. Homologous series. So this homologous series is defined as the series which have the similar properties. That means if you consider an alkane, it is considered as an homologous series, same alkene and same alkyne also. So hence we can define that the compounds belonging to a single series have the same property. One basic difference that we can see in the homologous series, that each group, each compound differs from the successive compound by a group, that is CH2. If you compare the formula for methane and ethane, so there will be a difference of one carbon and two hydrogen. Similarly, you can compare this with the other formulas also. So hence we can incorporate one of the important characteristic of homologous series is that each successive member differ from other by this CH2 group. And since the CH2 have a molecular mass of 14, so we can say that there is a difference of 14 molecular mass between the two successive groups. So hence we can say that what about homologous series? So whenever the question is asked regarding homologous series, so you can define this homologous series as a series of compounds which differ from each other with some of the important characteristics like by this CH2 group and 14 mass. And this CH2 group is defined as the group known as methylene group. Okay, the CH2 is defined as methylene group. So you can remember here what about methylene group. So I hope this word root regarding common name for the alkane, alkene, alkyne is now clear. So now let us move ahead towards the some of other rules which were set up according to IUPAC for the hydrocarbons. Okay. So as we have seen now for the specific compounds. Now what about when these hydrocarbons react with the other elements? So one condition is arise there. If we have an alkane, that means we are considering the simple formula that is CH4. We are considering one simple formula that is CH4, and if it loses, I can say one hydrogen. Okay, so in that case, it will form CH3 with a one vacant valency. So in this condition, this valency, it has possibility that it can be attacked by various functional group. Okay, in this category, it is having possibility that it can be attacked by various functional groups. Okay, can be attacked by various functional groups. So this particular group now does not cannot be defined in the category of alkane and has been given a different name that is defined as an alkyl group. It is defined as alkyl group. So I hope you got it. Different, this is a little bit different from those hydrocarbons that we have already seen. It is a generated molecule, we can say, from those alkene, alkenes and alkynes only, where they are losing the hydrogen and are generating the opportunity for the other elements to get attached with them. Okay, so such type of hydrocarbonic functional group, you can say, where it generates the possibility for the other functional groups for attacking, is known as alkyl group. Okay, so the various functional groups that can be attacked by this alkyl group is, number one is halogens. Okay, number two is alcohol. Number three is aldehyde. Number four is ketone. Number five is carboxylate. So these are the certain additional functional groups that can be attacked by this alkyl group. Apart from these, some of the common functional groups, there are some of the other derivatives that we can consider as a functional group for attacking this alkyl group are ether, ester, ester, amide, and many more. So there are these further functional groups are the derivatives of the remaining one. So I can say that the main one, that main groups are these four. So these are the basic functional groups that can be attached with this alkyl group, resulting in the formation of a new compound and making a new category of all these hydrocarbons. So now let us see how these hydrocarbons will be named when they will be attached by the given functional group. So let us write one heading there, that is name of organic compound. Okay, this is the organic compound, I can say. So the hydrocarbons, when they combine with the halogens, so such compounds are known as haloalkanes. When they combine with an alcoholic group, so they are known as alcohol only. Alcohols. Aldehydes are known as this aldehydes, ketone, and carboxylic all together are defined as the carbonyl compounds. These all are continuously are defined as the carbonyl carbonyl so hence on the basis of presence of these different functional groups, we can define the organic compound into various categories. As you can see, in presence of halogens, they are represented as uh, one second, they are represented as haloalkanes. Okay. Then alcohols are represented as alcohols. So hence they have been given the various names also. So if any hydrocarbon consists of an halogen, so they have been added by certain prefix or suffix in the given organic compound. So in case if any hydrocarbon consists of haloalkane, so it is added by a prefix, that is halo, where this halo can be defined by the various halogens, that is fluorine, that means fluoro for fluorine, comma, chloro, chloro for chlorine, bromo for bromine, and iodo for iodine. So these are the different prefixes that we are using for halogens if they are present in alcohol, haloalkanes. And in case if any compound contains alcohol, So it is added by a suffix that is -ol. In case if it contains an aldehyde, it is added by a suffix that is -al. For ketone, it is added by a suffix that is -one, and for carboxylic, it is added by -oic. So these are the various prefixes or suffixes that has been added to a hydrocarbon when they are substituted with these of the halogens. And for the further also we can say, if it is consist of ether, ester and amide, they are named as their substitute. And for ester we can say it is added by a suffix that is OH. And this ether is being added by a suffix prefix, we can say that is oxo. Okay, or you can say alkoxo. So alkoxy, you can say mean I can say here alkoxy, we can say for ether. Here we can write here prefix that is alkoxy. So these are some of the prefix that we can use for the various functional groups that are consisted or that are present in a given hydrocarbon. So these were certain rules that were formulated by the IUPAC for naming of the hydrocarbons. So I hope now this video you would have understand about the IUPAC nomenclature. So this was it from my side. Thank you.